Of the cities you visited, which one did you like the best?
Well, I don't think everybody would necessarily feel the same way. I think I just liked Hyderabad a little bit better because it was a little smaller and a little bit less overwhelming and a little bit less polluted because Delhi is the number one polluted city in the world. There was an article in Newsweek a friend sent me while we were in India talking about that, and I saw that for myself.
I kind of had an idea, having looked at the tour information that was provided by India Travel Touring Company and by the college, and the orientation I had, I knew what to expect and what we were going to see. So, but I guess visually it was just the density of the traffic, the movement. I mean, India is like many countries. The streets are livelier. They're more full of people. They're more congested. Not only in the rush hour, which we have a rush hour in D.C. on the Beltway, but there the streets are not just full of vehicles, but full of people all the time. It seemed like up until late at night and early in the morning. I mean, I remember getting up and going to change money early in the morning to an ATM. It was next to the hotel. People were always stirring, already getting up, and the seats were being. The city was beginning to awaken with people early in the morning, at sunup. Not just cars, but people in the streets. So the streets in India are much livelier with people than they are here.
What were some of your impressions of buildings?
Well, again, there was Delhi, there was Calcutta, and then there was Hyderabad. And each of those three, are distinctly different. And even within, like, Calcutta, is a lot of difference between downtown Calcutta and the areas around the old historic buildings with the Black Hole of Calcutta and the old government buildings, the old colonial capital buildings. They were different from the residence areas and the side streets and the more dense areas. I mean, in Delhi, I remember the difference between the very posh, upscale area of our hotel, which was in the government diplomatic quarter, and this parts of Delhi we saw when we were in the bus driving out to Jindal University, and how you could see it was more poor, if you will say. I mean, there's a lot of less affluence, but still lots of people. I mean, what struck me about India was not only that there were people obviously who were poor, but a lot of people who were middle class, who were tradesmen. There were all kinds of services, everything from hairdressers to barbers to people selling food, people selling services to medical services to schools. So obviously you get an idea that there are a lot of people who have money to spend. Not a lot of money, but a lot of middle class people with money to spend. It's not just it's not just abject poverty.
Okay. Could you talk about the abject poverty that you did see?
The thing that struck me the most about abject poverty, I remember, was when we were on the train coming out of Agra. And I was looking out the train window at some of the houses next to the train tracks in Agra. And that's what really struck me the most. I mean, there's some really apartment style, we would call them projects in this country, that were built out of crumbling brick. I don't know what it was, but it was obviously a very unstable kind of construction because it was falling apart and crumbling, and there were a lot of dogs around.
While Calcutta, the two sites that impressed me the most were Tagore's home and museum, which actually depicted quite a number of exhibits having to do with Tagore's life. I was acquainted with Tagore's work previously because at the Smithsonian, Manjula Kumar again had put on a symposium focusing on Tagore. So it was very satisfactory to me to be able to visit his home, which is now a museum. The second site that really had an impression on me was Mother Teresa's center. I was not aware of the fact that she actually was buried right in her center. And of course, the work that she has done at Calcutta with caring for the sick and the dying, it was really emotionally quite satisfying to me to be right there in her center. People described Calcutta before we went there as displaying poverty more. But for me, Calcutta was rich in having these two centers, Tagore's Home and Museum and Mother Teresa's Center.
Okay. And then you also went to Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. What was that like?
Both Calcutta and Hyderabad were new experiences for me. I had not been in either one of the cities. Hyderabad, I thought, was a very pretty city. My husband and I took a tour in a car that we hired and went right around the lake. It was really beautiful to see all these different parks laid all around the lake and with a statue of the Buddha in the center of the lake. However, Hyderabad has also been influenced quite a bit by Mughal influence, by Islamic influence. So it was there that we visited the palace. And since I'm Turkish, it felt like I was in that palace already.
What palace? What palace?
I don't recall the name of the palace, but it was
Palace of a Mughal?
a Mughal palace. Yes, it was a Mughal palace and with Islamic architecture. In Istanbul, in Turkey, we have the Dolmabahce Palace, which is sort of a Baroque, Rococo palace, and that palace was very reminiscent to me of the structures that I have seen in my homeland in Turkey. So it felt familiar for me. It felt familiar. It felt beautiful going around the lake, and the University Osmania. I mean, the name, I asked the faculty members about the name because the name Osman in English is sort of pronounced as Uthman, is definitely the name of one of the caliphs following Muhammad. So the university itself, in its very name, showed the Islamic influence. And India, of course, as you know, no doubt, is a country that has the second largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia being the first. So it was interesting to see this Islamic influence in Hyderabad. A beautiful city, I thought.
Okay. Was there anything unexpected that happened to you while you were on the trip?
Something that I expected?
Unexpected.
Unexpected. I think the vibrancy of the faculty and the youth of the faculty. I felt the faculty, particularly at General Global University, they were quite young. I recall actually some of the work that they did when we went to the village near the university, their social service work, that the fact is, I did not expect this, and I was impressed. We went to a preschool where they had 2- and 3-year-olds, and the information that we got from the faculty member who took us there was that the federal government of India provides free preschool throughout the country. I did not expect that, and I was impressed by it. Surely if India can do that, so should the US. My only regret is that we didn't have more time at the museums. But the museum in Calcutta, there were 2, right? One in Calcutta and one in Hyderabad. I felt for the exhibits that the museums held the time that we had there was too limited for my pleasure. On the other hand, as I told our group leader, Rita Kronidis, there's no point lamenting about what we did not get to see, because what we did get to see was fabulous.
And what do you take back in your classes after this last visit? Do you bring anything to the classroom as a result of your last visit to India?
Well, of course, because I teach a course called Asian Thought, so I'm able to bring back more actual visits of temples. I recall one temple that we visited, which was in a flower market. Was that in Hyderabad? Yes, was in Hyderabad, in a flower market, and then there was a spontaneous ceremony that was taking place with chanting and rituals being undertaken. So bringing back the vibrancy of these ceremonies spontaneously occurring even in marketplaces, something I would use in Asian thought. But I also teach classes on social justice. So in terms of social justice, the fact that the federal government offers free preschool education to its citizens, I think it's something that we could emulate.